Good morning. That was a terrible way to start. A throat clear, really? A throat full of food? That was tacky. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LOA Scope. Let me flip the screen around. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the LOA Scope for Monday, December 14th, 2015. Jay Neal Coaching is joined, as has several other people who I missed because I wasn't wearing my readers. And now I've got them. My thin optics. Hi, Natasha Lee, blogger. Nice to have you here. Rob has joined us. Thanks for being here. Rhonda Charmed Mess. And Dawn Fisher has shared on Twitter, which would be a great idea for all of you. This is a very important message today. It really is. Hi, Abdullah from Egypt. Wow. All right. Glad you could make it. Thank you for the hearts, by the way, everybody. I noticed I was looking at my profile this morning, making sure that I was, in fact, logging in as me. Hi, Jay Myers. And I noticed I have 267,000 hearts, or 268 or something. I've been on Periscope since March. This is inexcusable. I'm not blaming you people. Well, I'm not even blaming. I'm just noticing. Wouldn't it be cool to have a million hearts? I don't know. Do I really care about that? We're going to the Periscope Summit in January. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could generate a million hearts by January? I don't know why that would be cool. I don't know. Hey, look, hi, Shirley. Thanks for inviting followers, everybody. Excellent. Yeah, you picked a good time to invite followers because this is a message that people need to hear, absolutely need to hear. Lechugita, let's get a name here. Letty. Hi, Letty. Nice to have you here. And, okay, wow, awesome. Embodiment Entertainment, I'm guessing. Let's find out, shall we? RIAA, Platinum Certified Engineer Mixer. Oh, excellent. Okay. So we've got an engineer in the house. Poet. Wow, you guys are awesome. Thank you for sharing. We'll see how many people show up, but maybe they'll catch the replay as they see this on their Twitter feed. I really appreciate it. Okay, so you guys, first of all, I want to, I don't know if you were here for the last Periscope, which was on relationships. And it got kind of deep and it got kind of, whatever, very personal. I think the only way you can catch it now is on the replay, obviously. Oh, thank you. And that would be either a catch or over at bobdoyleshow.com. But I've gotten a lot of personal responses from that one. Thank you. A lot of personal responses from that one. And I just want to acknowledge and communicate my appreciation for those of you who have reached out and said how much that one in particular affected you, applied to you, made a difference for you, whatever it is. I really appreciate that. Especially because going in, I wasn't really sure where it was going to go, and I knew it was going to be kind of personal and all of that. But anyway, thank you for that. And like I said, you can go catch the replay at bobdoyleshow.com. Yes, and I am on today. I was a few seconds late because of something I'm going to tell you about in just a second, and then we're going to get right into the content on You Don't Have to Earn It. Jay Trevolino. I love it when Jason and the other regulars show up. Okay, welcome as you continue to stream in. My name is Bob Doyle. I was one of the featured teachers / experts in the film The Secret, which was out back in 2005, 2006, and it's a film about the law of attraction, which basically explains how things come in and out of your life. How do we as human beings create our experience exactly as we would like to create it? And it's a subject that is met with a lot of mixed reactions when people hear about it for the first time. Because if improperly explained, it can sound very magical, very woo-woo, very, what are you talking about? That kind of stuff. But when you understand the science of it and really get deep into the physics of energy and the nature of our universe and we as human beings, it starts to make sense. And that's really what my work is about making sense out of this concept that so many people have turned into sort of this new agey woo-woo thing, which makes it virtually inaccessible to a lot of people who could really, really benefit from an understanding of what the law of attraction really is and certainly what it is not, because there's a lot of information out there, which is misrepresenting the whole thing. Ryan Doyle is in the house. We're not related, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, as far as we know. But it's nice to have you here. So, my computer just decided to do stuff all by itself. I was nowhere near it. Anyway, so so that's what my work is about. And so I do these law of attraction scopes. Hi, Jen. Oh, I was going to read your profile, but it faded on me. So I do these periscopes. I try to do them 2 to 3 times a week. I say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. and then invariably life comes up sometimes. And I didn't do one Friday. I was in the middle of something. I looked up. It was 10:20. I was like, oh, I missed it again. So, anywho, so that's what I'm doing. And so today is a topic that we all of us need to keep in mind. And I'm going to tell you how the topic came up in just a second. But I wanted to tell you about something. If you were here at the very beginning of this Periscope, you saw, or you're watching the replay, you saw a piece of paper that said yourquantumblueprint.com, and then it said coupon code SCOPE. So I just want to share this with you because this is something that I'm sharing. This particular thing, I actually posted about this on Facebook yesterday, but the thing about SCOPE and the coupon code I haven't shared with anybody. And I know this sounds a little addy, but I just want to share this with you because I know a lot of you are regulars, and if you're here for the first time, trust me, I do not come on here and sell stuff. That's just not what I do. However, I'm very excited about this particular webinar, and it doesn't cost you anything to go see. And I just wanted to share it with you because I will be talking about it a lot more. But this special, if you will, this coupon code for SCOPE is not something that I'm giving to anybody except for the people who watch me here on Periscope. So first of all, if you go to yourquantumblueprint.com, you'll see that it's basically a training on the law of attraction, and it's definitely a different angle than I've ever taken before, and it explains a lot of things like why we as a society tend to, reject concepts like this, and how those of us who are embracing it are not better than other people, okay, but just ahead on a curve of accepting. And when you look at history and how new information has always been presented, and there's a way that we accept new information as human beings. We'll reject it, we'll mock it, blah 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 blah, and then we accept it. I'm sure you've heard various versions of that. And this particular webinar is about that and should be very, very helpful for those of you who are either brand new to the concept of the law of attraction or need some of the blanks filled in from a science point of view. And I promise you, there's content in here that I've never, ever done anywhere else. Not in any book, not in any article, not in any Periscope, not on anything. This is absolutely the first time I've done some of this stuff. Now, the reason obviously you can go and watch that webinar and get the value out of it, and ta-da, that's it. But look, I'm sharing this with you because I feel like Periscope is just a different thing. I feel like the relationship is different. So I'm just going to be very transparent and tell you what this is. Now, at the end of this webinar, there is an offer, right? And it's there's a program. Basically, it's a combination of programs I put together called the Quantum Shortcut System, and it's a combination of our in-depth Science Behind the Secret program and our You Attract webinar. And then if you do that, then you are offered our Wealth Beyond Reason program at a huge discount. And then after that, you're offered everything we have at a huge discount. But what the scope, if you decide that you would like to dig into our work for whatever reason, if you use the scope coupon code on the very first order page for the Quantum Success System, then everything all the way through the chain becomes 50% off. And I'll just tell you what it would be. Shoot, I can't find my calculator. Okay, here we go. You know what? I'll do this later. The point is that it's an opportunity to get everything we've ever done. If you go all the way through the whole thing and just say yes to everything. Let's see, 127. Anyway, for seriously like a couple $100, you get everything we've ever done, and it's thousands of dollars worth of stuff because you're using this coupon. And I want to throw this out here too. For anybody who actually does watch this, go through everything and gets into our everything, like actually says, yes, I want everything you've ever done, we're going to do something special. And that is, those of you who do that, we're going to have a special, we'll have to use a different platform like Zoom or something where we can all meet virtually via video into a sort of a conference room. And as you start this journey, we're all going to get together, or those of you who got everything, we're going to get together in a room and say, all right, so what are you all up to? We're going to get to know each other. We're going to get to find out what each other's visions are, what our goals are, or help even craft that. And then we'll set you off, and we'll have a little Facebook group too where you can meet and talk if you want to. And then at the end of like 3 or 4 weeks, after you've gone through a lot of the program, hey Xavier, then we'll reconvene and we'll see how everybody's doing. So you kind of get some coaching and some guidance through the program. I never do this, not like this. But that's for the people who really fully commit. All right, that's really all I'll say on that. I mean, I will talk about this again the next couple of scopes, but I'm only going to do this for a short amount of time. The thing I asked, though, the reason I'm doing this, is there a start date today? Just you can go right today. Now, and the start date, or like that virtual conference that we'll have to, like, I'm going to have to give this a week. I'm going to, share this for a week or whatever, see who the players are, and then we'll create that. We'll create that group. I'll be in touch with you all individually and how to do that. What was I going to say on that? Meant for the group part. Yeah, no, not exactly, but it would be, let's say today's Monday, let's say I do this for a week. I would imagine by the end of next week we'd have a schedule for the start thing, and we'll do the best we can to accommodate everybody's schedule. But we got to see who the players are first, and we'll work it out. I mean, I know we're up against the holidays and all that other stuff. It may be more practical to actually start the thing at the beginning of the year. I don't know, but let's get the pool of people first, and then we'll see. Okay, I guess that's all I'll say on that right now. It seems like there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember. I won't have 200 in a week. Oh, I see. Well, I'm just throwing it out there. There's other ways we can accommodate you, Juliet, if you want to come in later. We're all about support. We're all about online communities. When you join in any of our programs, basically, you'll have some access to some group for support. Hi, Christiana Clark. Nice to have you here. I like the little wave. Okay, so why don't we get into the meat? Let's get into the meat, huh? Because this is truly a topic that, wow, if you can get it, it really, and it's not that it's hard to get. It's just sometimes it's hard to accept. So years ago, when I first started the Wealth Beyond Reason program, which is pretty much the flagship program that I've been educating people with for the longest time, part of that program is a lot of, I call them follow-up seminars or mini seminars. It's just basically me talking 5 to 10 minutes on a particular topic related to the law of attraction. And this one was called You Deserve It. And it was just the whole idea is that you deserve what you want in your life simply because you exist. The fact that you are here, you have been placed on this planet, brought yourself here, however you want to believe all of that, you're here. And you're born with everything that you need to create your reality. And that alone is all you need. That's your deserving. Okay, so, and that was actually a two-parter. Now, you could, I went a lot longer than that. This is a minute, but I will be talking about it on this scope. The point is that the idea is that you just deserve it, because it's not about being good enough or anything like that or doing the right things. You deserve it because you're a human being and you've been born with this ability to create your life. But we forget that, and even I forget it. And here's why I was if you were here on that scope last week, I shared with you that I'm kind of going through my own sort of process right now. A big, huge reevaluation of lots of different things and checking back in and just really going deep in my own life and examining where am I right now with various things. And so it's been very deep work for me, and it's weird because I don't know if you've ever done a lot of deep work on yourself, but you're kind of floating around in a sort of a different feeling of reality for a few days while this is going on, and that's what's happening to me. And as a result of that, you can have some interesting emotional swings as you bring up a lot of your old stuff and look at it again in a different way, and that's what's going on for me. And so I was talking to Lynn about this. Lynn, for those of you who don't know, @Lynn Rose is my partner in life, love of my life, and we live together here in Marina Del Rey. And I was just kind of laying there, and I was in kind of a weird sort of space, doing some changing, and you weren't expecting it. Yeah, that's the fun stuff, huh? I'm being very intentional about this one. And I was laying there, and I said, I set it up saying, I know this is going to sound like a weird question or whatever. Yes, she is a beautiful soul. And I said, because, we have a wonderful life. I mean, we have each other, we have our wonderful dog, we live in this beautiful place. But wherever I was in the process, I was laying there just, I was struggling with some things. And I said, and I knew that this sounded like a, what's the word I'm looking for? When you ask a question expecting a certain answer, like you want to hear a certain answer. And I really hate it when people do that to me. But anyway, I asked Lynn, I said, why do you think I deserve any of this? Okay. And And what I was wanting to hear or expecting to hear was some sort of, and I'm just being really honest with you guys here, was some sort of a, like, well, look at all the value you contribute to people's lives and blah, 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 all of that stuff, like stuff I did, or stuff, or even how I'm being, or my contribution, or any of that stuff. That's kind of what I just was, there was a part of my ego that needed some affirmation around that, right? Some validation. But she didn't do that. What she turned around and she goes, well, what if it wasn't about deserving? And immediately my brain was like, no, I get all that, but I really want to, in my mind, I'm going, I want to hear, that I'm making a difference or whatever. So my first response was like to reject it, go, no, like what am I doing to deserve all of this, right? But then she kept talking, and it reawakened that whole knowing in me. Wait a minute. I don't have to earn it. It's here for all of us. Again, so let me go back. We as human beings are born, this is basic law of attraction stuff, guys, but we're born with our imagination, we're born with our passions, we're born with the whole fact that we are energy and that we're part of this universe. It's pure creation. We're pure creation machines. We don't have to earn the ability to create what we want. We have it. Now, here's the thing, though. We've been taught that we have to work for what we get, that we have to earn it, we have to be a certain way, do a certain amount of things, contribute a certain amount of value, whatever, to deserve something in return. Now, look, the universe is responding to our energy. So, yes, we're going to, but we attract based on where we are. If it was about deserving, bad people would be miserable, and they're not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, that's another whole conversation. That's another whole conversation. It's like, how can these people who are just such jerks, right, have all this money and seeming success? Now, the thing is, we don't know how happy they are. We don't know what kind of life they really have. We don't know, if you're a jerky person, you've got some pain going on. You've got some suffering going on. If you're a jerk and you are going around life doing bad things to people, or believe me, you're in pain. You're not enjoying your life. You're not happy. You can smile out in public, but you're not happy. If that's the way you're operating, to try and belittle other people or take advantage of other people, you could have all the success in the world in terms of money and stuff. But trust me, what's driving that need to be better than or push other people down is pain. It's pain and suffering. You don't want that. You don't want that. What you want is to be filled with joy, doing what you love, and letting the universe support you in that. So what slows that down is this idea, what often slows it down is this idea that we have to earn it. Because, this is what we've been taught. Well, if you want that, then you have to do this, 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 this. You have to be a certain way, all of these things, which makes us doubt whether or not we're doing that. Are we good enough? All of this stuff about am I good enough? All of this stuff about comparing yourself to others. This all comes from this idea that we have to earn it. We have to be a certain way before we can get what we want. But the thing is that's not how it's designed. That's not how, that's not how the universe works. The grass doesn't earn its ability to grow, and, birds do. You see what I'm saying? It's such a man-made thing. You have to be good enough. You have to do this. And everybody has a different yardstick. So that's this thing. There's no one truth. If you just look at it, it's silly to think. It's silly to think this way, but yet we do. We're so driven by it. And so we get in our heads as to whether or not we're good enough to deserve something, or whether we're doing the law of attraction right, or any of these things. We have all this internal nonsense that's been programmed into us, and that is what's causing the resistance, which is slowing things down. So it causes us to buy into our own idea that we have to earn it. Because as we sit there and suffer over whether or not we're earning it enough, we're actually pushing away whatever, because we have doubts. We have all of this energy around, we haven't done enough. We haven't been good enough. We haven't whatever. We haven't earned it. But for each of us, that's going to be this whole metric that we make up for ourselves, or a metric that we bought in from other people, somebody who we respect or whatever says, well, when you do this, this, and this, and this, then you'll earn it. And if we've done something, going back to last week's scope, we talked a little bit about guilt and things like that. If you're feeling guilty about something, and you're carrying that guilt around, then clearly you're going to be questioning whether or not you deserve something, because you feel like you feel guilty about something that you've done bad. So clearly you don't deserve what you want. That's all man-made. That is a man-made idea that we've all just embraced. Again, I go back to structures like religions and things, which create this value and moral system that we choose the one we want, which is just funny because we're all about living truth, and well, here's a truth, and there's a truth, and there's a truth, and anyway, the point is we take on this value system, and we buy into we have to be good enough or we have to whatever. But we're just this energy, maybe just being and not overthinking it. Yes, that's exactly right, Scar Marcana. We overthink it. We're thinking, did I do this good enough? Do I deserve this? Have I done enough? And just in the very questioning, it brings up that possibly we haven't. And then that just creates this energy of, it truly is, it sets up a force field to the thing that we're trying to attract. When we even question whether or not we deserve something. What if it could be so easy that all it is exactly like what we're saying with the law of attraction, where all you really need to do is to be clear on what your vision is, bring yourself into vibrational alignment with it through visualization or whatever other process you want, and it just occurs. It begins to put itself into play. And then all you have to do is respond to what the universe brings to you. So you create your vision. So this is what I was doing the other day, yesterday actually. Because I think we had a conversation on one of these scopes about, when you wake up at 3:30 in the morning and you're just filled with anxiety because I guess you're in the middle of some sort of processing and your subconscious, it's all over the place. Do you think this comes from the parent-child relationship? Well, absolutely. I mean, sure, absolutely. Could we learn as children that you'll get this if you do that, right? Be good, and then you can have this thing, right? But society's like that too. I mean, the parent-child relationship is just sort of a microcosm of society. If you do this, then you can do this. But if you do this, then you'll be punished and all of these other things, right? If you do this, you're good enough. If you do that, you're not good enough. But the fact is, we are all good enough inherently. But this idea, the whole reason things have gotten so twisted and people become bad and all of these other things, I'm sorry, it's just because of the way that things are set up, and we're not living in our natural state. We've got all of these rules. We've got all of these rules that, we all have our different, use it in juvenile detention. What did you use? I missed it. All of these rules that put limitations on us, and we are free spirits. We're born to be free and create exactly as we want. And the society or parents or teachers or whomever tells us we can't do that, or you have to be this first. It crushes our spirit, and some people respond differently when their spirits are crushed. Some will just go into a depression and be a recluse. Some will rebel and become, actually criminal activity or do whatever they have to do to get what they want or to have that feeling like, you know what, you can't tell me this. But it's all in response to lies that we're being told about our limitations. So I'm saying if there was none of this, if we had never been injected with this whole idea of you have to do this to get this, or you have to earn this, or you're not good enough, or whatever, then we would just be free to create. Teach your kids the law of attraction they use in their own lives at 12 and 14. That is awesome. That's awesome, because the earlier the better, obviously. And just as an aside, for those of you out there, I get a lot of questions about what's the best way to teach our kids the law of attraction? Live it. You can show them the secret, you can give them a book, you can give them a course, but if you're not living it, don't expect them to. Unless they're really, really super special and on a different path, because they're going to, look at you as an example. So what I want to get through to you guys is if you are trying to create or manifest something and you are struggling with it, or it's slow to come, or you're getting frustrated, and there's any thought you should check in with yourself if you're not clear already. Am I questioning whether or not I deserve this? Am I asking myself, have I done enough? Like, when I get this business running and it's running smoothly, then that's when I'll deserve to get this income. Or when I do this, then that person will love me, or any of that. Or then I'll get I'll get the relationship of my dreams, or whatever. So much is stacked against us. You know what? You're absolutely right. It seems like a losing battle to move humanity from where we are right now, because we're so just we've just so bought into this conversation of limitation and you have to, earn whatever, that the idea of creating a whole shift in the book, what pages are I on? Wow. I don't know. I don't know. I know at the end of the book, there's like all the biographies. Hold on. I just happen to know. I had a copy right here. I don't know where all my different quotes are, but I do know that at the end, page 190, who is that young guy? Who is that guy? Anyway, all right. You deserve it. If there's just one thing that you could get, have it be a mantra for yourself. I deserve it. I deserve this. I deserve this. And the reason you deserve it is because you're here. You made it through the cosmos, through the universe, through the cycling of energy, maybe billions and billions of years of energy. You made it here on this planet where we have all this amazing ability to experience the physical and have all the fun little chemical reactions that we have as human beings, to fall in love, to feel joy and exuberance, and to be creative and contribute value and all of those things, but to have the experience as a human being that we've possibly been wanting to have for billions of years as we've been floating around out there. You're here. So you did whatever it took. I promise you're not here to suffer. I promise you that's not the reason that you're here. You've been given all of this. And even if you have challenges, mental, physical challenges, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're here. And you're still a part of the universe. You're still connected to everything. Your thoughts, your emotions, your vibrations still have an impact on not only yourself, but everybody that you touch. So you've done amazing work just to even get here, right? Or work, whatever it is. It just happened. It happened and you're here. So now let's take advantage of it. Why would you get here and then immediately what kicks in is like, well, here's all the reasons I can't have what I want in this manifest or in this current incarnation of myself. It's just, Periscope Summit. I'm going to be at the Periscope Summit. Hey, it's Lynn Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome her. Yeah, not here to suffer, to resolve karma, blah, blah. Yeah. Not here to resolve karma, right. No. We're here to have the human experience. And we're born with, I love you too, babe. We're born with just infinite potential. And then the limitations come in, because perhaps our parents have limitations, or we're in an environment that's filled with limiting beliefs and all of this stuff. And then we learn all these things. You got to deserve it. You got to earn it. You'll never get there. People in our neighborhood never make it to all those belief systems. And from a very early age, and we start to learn you have to earn what you want. And look, on one level it makes sense, right? Like as a parent, you brought up the parenting relationship. Aw, thanks for the hearts, little boy. Obviously we have to have some order in our society. So I'm not telling everybody just to run around willy-nilly. But I'm talking about in terms of creating your own experience of life and what you want your life to be. You have the freedom to do that, and you deserve it right now. You just got to get clear on that vision. And here's the thing, look, when you're really in a pure state, when you're in your essence and you're not ruled by all the limiting beliefs or whatever has gotten you, if you're not a joy-filled person or whatever, I guess what I'm trying to get at is when you're in that state, when you're in that pure, wonderful state, your vision isn't going to ever be anything that has to do with hurting people, taking away from people, taking advantage of people, doing that bad thing that somebody mentioned before, being a bad person. Your ego might, as you start to go, what do I want? What do I want to create? Your ego, who might be struggling with pain or lack or whatever, might start thinking about, well, if I could just get this from them or whatever. But eventually there's no joy in that. There's no joy in that. So I guess what I'm saying is to don't be selfish with yourself. Don't be stingy with yourself. Allow yourself to have that dream. Allow yourself to have that vision, and know that the very fact that you are here with the ability to manifest it is deserving enough. We have to know we have the freedom because there's so much pressure against being true. We have to know we have the freedom. Hey, nice talk. Bye-bye. Hollow victory is never fulfilling. Yes, that's true. That's the first block I've had in quite some time. Flick. Interesting, because that's probably what people think when he comes onto a scope. Go, flick. Anywho, so now conceptually, this is, I guess, fairly easy to understand. Okay, yeah, we're here. Flick invited followers. Well, that'll be interesting to watch who comes in. Flick followers. Interesting. Wouldn't it be funny if what he typed was like a complete typo, like it was like autocorrect? Although, why would his phone autocorrect with that particular word? Anyway. Anyway, I'm sorry. All right, sorry. I shouldn't have called so much attention to that. But anyway. So I guess what I'm getting at is to please give yourself permission to have that vision and let it be as fulfilling as possible and let it sing to your, to who you are as a person, what you're really passionate about, what you feel your purpose might be, just whatever. And don't allow this idea that you don't deserve it or that you're not good enough stop you, because you'll find that those ideas, wherever they came from some other person. You were not instilled with feelings that you did not come here with feelings of limitation and beliefs of limitation. Those were all taught to you. Those were all just learned. They're man-made. And they're made from men who had their own issues, whether it was control or their own limitations or whatever. And by golly, over thousands of years, it just seems like that's what's real. But if you can just take a little bit of a step back and get out of the man-made stuff, like maybe visualize yourself just sort of rising up off the planet and really getting another bird's eye view and saying, wow, I'm a part of all of this. And I deserve to have this experience. Because, what are you telling yourself when you say you don't deserve to have the life you love? You've been given this life. What, are you just resigned to the fact that it's just gonna be struggle and suffer this entire time? Is that what you're telling yourself? Well, I guess this is just how it is. Sonia Riccati, well, don't leave. Don't get out. But it's so nice to have you here. Boy, Sonia, I miss you. I haven't talked to you in forever. What's up with that? Yes, you're born worthy and you stay worthy. Now, you may go out in the world and do some things that are not good. But you know what? Regardless of what a crappy person you are, and you're basic, the truth of who you are is that you still deserve to have the life you want. The problem is that when you become a bad person or whatever, for lack of a better definition, you're going after something that really isn't the life you want. You're looking for control. You're looking to get some sense of, you probably devalue yourself so much that it's doing bad things to others or taking from others or raising yourself. But that's not giving you the life you want. You're just trying to survive. You're just trying to get through the day. You're trying to, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not, this is not the vision life that we're talking about. What role do you think organized religion plays in perpetuating the unworthiness issue? A very, very big one. That's a whole other conversation. I have to be really careful. One of the things I want people to know about me, I will share here that I don't know that I've ever really shared before. But, when I was a teenager, I went through a very, very religious stage, like super religious, like walking around with Bibles and telling people they were going to go to hell. And that's who I was. Hard to believe. And then, of course, you come out of that and then you just reject everything, right? I didn't want to have any kind of conversation about religion, God, spirituality, any of that because of what I went through. Because it wasn't just, it was a very manipulative type of thing that I went through. So I had a lot of resentment and all of that. But, and so I know that some of that, because it was so deep and so impactful for me at that time, that I still deal with some of that stuff. Like I know it's still, some of the values are still in there and presents conflict with some things. So yeah, organized religion is, I just really want to be careful. I'm not here to offend anybody, right? But let's face it, there's so much about judgment and did you deserve this and bad and good and, you know, and at the same time, there's pieces of religion that are telling you exactly what I'm saying. You deserve it all. You can have whatever, you know, if you have the faith, right? Whatever you desire, right? I mean, so there are messages within organized religion that are dead on right. But at the same time, in the very same manuscript, if you will, and I'm not just choosing any particular one, you can have conflicting ideas that create things about punishment and fear and all of these things. It just doesn't make, you know, you have to be careful and pick out the good parts, right? I think the problem I have with like picking out the good parts is if there are only some good parts, and I don't know, you can get great ideas from. I think that, you know, people who we would never want to emulate every now and then say something that's true and inspiring and can benefit us, but it doesn't mean that we want to hang out with them and have them over for holidays or anything like that. The point is, there's great information, there's little tidbits everywhere, but I do believe that, what about some CEOs and politicians who are very happy, negatively impacting people? Yeah, but I'm saying, I'm challenging the idea that they're really happy. They might come out and do their little evil smile and seem very happy, but I promise you, inside, they're hurting. There's just no, how do you stop a friendship with someone that is constantly negative without being a mean person? Well, I talked about this a little while ago. I think the idea that you have to, like going in with the idea that you're stopping a friendship, there's all sorts of negative blah around that. I start with setting boundaries. If I have a person in my life who is negative and continues to be negative or whatever, I basically give them a heads up and say, you know what, this just isn't who I am. You know, I might have used to listen to this. I might have joined you in this conversation before, but now I don't. It doesn't serve me. So I'm going to ask you to please, if you have this type of conversation, if you have these types of things to say, you just need to tell somebody else and not me, because I can't be around it. And I'm just, you know, giving you a heads up that if you start being like this, I will walk away. It has nothing to do with whether I love you or not as a friend, but I will not subject myself to this. And set a boundary and let them make the decision. But you absolutely have the right to protect yourself from negativity. But you don't have to be a jerk about it. You just basically say, these are my boundaries. And then it's up to them to respect them or not, right? So I've done that. I've done that in my life, and it works just great. Tell them you're allergic. I'm allergic to negativity. I'm breaking out in hives. Will you please? That's an interesting idea. Okay. You don't have to earn it. It's just something, again, I said this a minute ago, you can get it you can nod and say, yeah, I get that. But you have to embody that. You have to really know that you deserve it just by being here and having the gift of this life. And if you'll just let yourself off the hook and allow yourself to have that vision that inspires you and really bask in that every night, every day, every morning when you wake up, understanding how you want your day to start and how you want to feel. Yesterday, I did probably 20 minutes of just laying there, imagining what it would feel like, if I let go of a lot of the stuff that's spinning around in my head these days. What would it be like to just wake up in the morning knowing that, feeling completely free to do whatever I wanted to not have to worry about, oh, I got all this work to do, or, oh, I got to do this first. Because what I tapped into was that I had gotten back into this trap of, I need to earn this. Like, I've got to do this before I can have this. And I didn't even realize it until Lynn reflected it back to me. You know, like I would go on stage and teach this and have it flow through me and be really present with it and not even realize how I, in my personal life, wasn't doing that. So it was really quite an eye-opener to get the answer I did not want from Lynn the other day, because it truly was actually the answer that not only that I wanted, but that I needed. Thank you, Sonia. Big hug to you. Thank you so much for coming by. Can't wait to see you again whenever that's going to be. You guys follow Sonia Riccati. She is an amazing leader in this conversation, and boy, I could do a whole scope on just her. and her story and our relationship and our friendship and how much she's helped me over the course of the years, and really how we've supported each other. But I got to tell you that I feel that she supported me a lot more over the past few years than I've supported her. But she's amazing, and you should check out her work. She has a program called Unsinkable, a book and a program called Unsinkable that's about bouncing back, when life knocks you down, and it's just really great stuff. So follow her. Although I don't know if she's doing a lot of Periscope. Sonia, she's probably gone by now, but she should be. But check her out. Leadoutloud.ca, I think, is her web address. Okay, so you deserve it. Just want you to know that. Maybe that says, are we to have no fear and only positive visualization and energy? Well, look, we're gonna have fears programmed into us, but it doesn't mean that we have to succumb to it. You want your visualizations to be filled with positive energy. You want to be in the spot of I have this now and really bask in it. And what I found is, as I was starting to do that process, is that the first thing that came up for me was, well, what have I done to earn that? What have I done to deserve? Have I worked hard enough? Have I sold enough products? Have I written, you know what I mean? It was like, I had all this stuff about, well, that was it. It was like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get this life that I'm visualizing? And I'm doing it. That's the thing. The irony was, as I was doing it, to lay down and visualize it and feel it and let the universe provide the details of the how. That's how it works. The more we think about it and try and figure out how am I going to get there, well, then we're just we have this amazing power and this with the law of attraction, this amazing ability that we're just completely overriding by, no, I'll just figure it out right here. Makes no sense, but that's what we do because that's what we've learned. So I'm just saying to embrace the quote-unquote magic that is our existence and the fact that we are energetic beings and that there is this law of attraction and that you do have access to education on how to use it and how to, what it really is about and all of that. So anyway, look, I'm going to, let me remind you one more time about the quantumblueprint.com. It's a webinar about, it's about a lot of this. It's about a lot of this. You can go to the page and then you can read and see if the content is there for you. I don't want to do a big pitch, but I was saying that there is an offer at the end of it, like there are for so many of these programs out there. But it's an opportunity for you to really dig into the work that I do and how I do it. And in fact, you have the opportunity to get everything I've ever done for like a ridiculously low thing if you use the coupon code SCOPE if you decide to get the first thing. Just remember coupon code SCOPE and then go watch the webinar. And if you're called to move forward with getting into some of our programs, just remember to put in the coupon code SCOPE on the first little order form and hit apply, and then everything will be 50% off as you go through. And I'm only doing that for the Periscope audience. I mean, the webinar will be out there, and I may offer some other kind of discount code, but not 50%. But remember that I know there was one other piece that I wanted to say, sort of I can't make you do this, but I would appreciate it if you did. If you come in and you get any of these programs at this discount, especially if you go all the way through it and we do the kind of before and after video conferences and stuff like that, I would love it if you would be willing to share sort of a video testimonial of your experience with the program and the material, just to kind of help me to share that it's not just me saying this, but lots of other people have been impacted by this as well. And it would be an opportunity for you to get your face out there if you want, but it would just be very helpful to me if you'd be willing to share a few words about your experience with the stuff, if you get it. You don't have to go on and say, well, I got this at a huge discount. That's not necessary. But just to share your experience would be fantastic. Okay, you guys, I so appreciate you. I will be back so I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a blab on Wednesday or a Periscope. Yes, I am. And in fact, Juliet Nelson has asked if I'm going to do voiceover scopes again. I'm doing more of those on Blab because with Blab I can show all my various screens. I can show the screens where I get the jobs. I can show the screen of my editing, of the editing process and the whole thing. It's just a lot more descriptive and clear. And with those, I can bring you on and actually coach with you. So I don't do so many voiceover scopes, but voiceover blabs, yes. And I will be launching that voiceover coaching program for generating revenue on Fiverr. Before you get on Blab, will you scope for a second to tell us? Sure, that's fair enough. I'll come on and say, I'm getting ready to do a voiceover scope or a voiceover blab. But you can go over there and blab and follow me too at Bob Doyle Secret. Go to blab.im, follow at Bob Doyle Secret, and then if you get notifications or whatever, you'll be notified when I schedule my next voiceover scope, and then when I go live. They do notify. It's an option that pops up on your browser. Do you want to be notified? At least it pops up on mine. I know it works on Chrome. I can just tell you I get notified all day long. Well, those of you who are joining me now, I'm just about to say goodbye. But I do hope that you'll go back and take the time to watch the replay if you'd like. I think it's a very important topic. It seems very simple in concept, but it's really about getting it on that full, like really getting it. Like when you get it, you'll feel it all through your core. Like, I deserve it. I don't have to earn it. When you do, the freedom that you get, the exhilaration that you get, the sense of possibility and play that you get. Okay, Juliet, but I will definitely try to remember to do a quick scope to say I'm going to go over here and do a voiceover scope soon. Maybe this week. Maybe that's what I'll do on Wednesday. Maybe I'll do a voiceover scope. Really just kind of depends. I do a voiceover scope when I've got lots of little jobs that are very diverse and I can show examples of all sorts of different things, as opposed to like these long, 3,000 word things where I think you'd all just be bored out of your mind. But anyway, so I'll let you know about that. All right, everybody, just please, if there's anything that you can do today to tune back into your vision that inspires you and what you're really here to do, and see if feelings come up about, but I don't deserve it, or I haven't worked hard enough, or, what do I have to do? See if that comes up for you, and then just know that you're free to completely let that go if you'd like. You don't have to earn it. There's nothing more you have to do, Just do what you know to do. And again, if you watch the Quantum Blueprint, that might help you. And then certainly if you get into our programs, then you should have the deepest education you can possibly have on any of this stuff. But it's just that there's just certain clicks that you can have when certain lights come on that just give you the freedom to dream and play and really enjoy this process rather than make the law of attraction some chore. Because so many people do. They learn it and they go, okay, I'm going to really work hard on this. And they lose their sense of play. And that's not what this is all about at all. It should feel like play. It should feel fun. It should feel flowing and freeing and expanding and all of that. Not like, oh, what do I have to do to earn this and deserve it? Okay? All right. I have such a hard time saying goodbye. But I'm going to now because my coffee is really cold and it's disgusting. I'm going to have to get it warmed up. All right. I'll talk to you guys later in the week. Have a good one.